Chris' true color began to show a year into their marriage. The man she thought she knew started to change. Chris, once attentive and loving, became controlling and isolating. His actions spoke volumes of a deep-seated insecurity and a desperate need for dominion over her. The first sign of trouble was Chris's insistence that Queen quit her job. He argued that he could provide for her and that her place was at home, tending to the house and him. This effectively severed her connection to the professional world and her financial independence. Next, he began to subtly restrict her communication with her family. He'd make excuses why she couldn't call or visit them, creating a wedge between Queen and her loved ones. Chris masterfully played on her emotions, manipulating her into believing that his actions were out of love and concern for her well-being, slowly cutting her off from her support network. Queen, increasingly isolated and dependent on Chris, felt trapped in a gilded cage. The vibrant, independent woman she once was began to fade, replaced by a shadow of her former self, living under the oppressive control of her husband. As time passed, Queen found herself pregnant. A new life was blossoming within her, a beacon of hope in what was becoming an increasingly dark world. However, Chris's temper, once a manageable storm, intensified into a raging hurricane. The joy of impending parenthood seemed only to fuel his inner demons. Chris's anger was escalating, and Queen was suffering. Every slight provocation led to violent outbursts, leaving her battered and bruised. Despite being pregnant, she was not spared. One day, Queen's friend Sarah visited. Sarah was taken aback by Queen's appearance. The bruises on her face and arms were evident. Queen tried to downplay the situation, but Sarah's concerned expression made her realize she wasn't fooled. "Queen, what's going on?" Sarah asked gently. Queen hesitated, unsure of how to respond. She knew Sarah would be worried, but she couldn't hide the truth forever. As soon as they sat down, Sarah took Queen's hands in hers, her eyes filled with concern. "Queen, I've noticed you've been distant lately, and when we talk, you seem different. What's going on?" she asked gently. Queen hesitated, but Sarah's kind gaze encouraged her to open up. She began to share stories about her husband's increasingly controlling behavior, the way he'd lash out when things didn't go his way, and the fear that had taken a precedence in her chest. Sarah listened attentively, her expression growing more somber with each passing moment. When Queen finished speaking, Sarah squeezed her hands. "This is not love, my friend," she said firmly. "What you're describing is abuse. You need to save yourself and the baby." But Queen shook her head. A mix of determination and desperation etched on her face. "He'll change, Sarah. He loves me.